That's good. That's good. Maybe a little bit less volume. Yeah. Cool. Okay. Are we ready? Time. Hi. Good morning. Welcome. So traditionally, we would always think that flavor comes through the chain of coffee plants, its origin, or its processes. Then we think that we can impact this flavor further by roasting or brewing that cup of coffee. However, over the last few years, with so much innovation around coffee processing, I believe that something else is possible. I believe that we can now ferment coffee with specific taste goals in mind as a starting point. Now I call this purpose-driven fermentation. So throughout my coffee journey and throughout exploring different fermentation techniques, I came across one that allows for more control and also consistency. It is a carbonic maceration. And to me, this serves as a great baseline of approaching coffee processing from a new and also purposeful direction. So if you see on section 1 in front of you, this is the traditional carbonic maceration steps. Typically with this process, we pick our coffee cherries and then we depulp it. Then we put it inside a stainless steel tank similar to what we have here before sealing that tank and pressurizing it with carbon dioxide. Now, this forces oxygen out, allowing us to have a fully anaerobic environment inside our stainless steel tank. Now, this adds two main benefits to our coffee. So firstly, the prolonged contact time with the carbon dioxide gives more vibrant acidity inside the cup. And secondly, the anaerobic environment gives higher definition of flavor into our coffee. So today, I'm going to highlight a few purpose-driven modifications to the traditional CM steps in 3 different coffees. They were specifically chosen for espresso, milk course, and also signature beverage course. Alright, so now I'm going to do some work over on this table. But for now, I would like for you to direct your attention to the placement in front of you, especially on section 2. This is fermentation for espresso beverage. So the goal for espresso is to have a well-balanced, clear, and vibrant cup of coffee. With this goal in mind, I chose a coffee that was specifically fermented for this purpose. It is a green tip geisha from the Falcon region of Panama. This coffee was processed by Jamison Savage of Finca Debra at 1900 meters above sea level. Now, if you see the first step on section 2, this is how Jamison started his fermentation. He began by depulping his coffee cherries, leaving only 10% of mucilage intact to add a better tactile experience to his coffee. Then the next step is to move the coffee cherries into a stainless steel tank to continue with traditional CM for a better vibrancy. However, due to the lack of oxygen inside the tank, the coffee was lacking a little bit of sweetness. So this is when he moved on to the next step, drying the coffee cherries on a 3-tier African raised bed to slow down his drying. So he starts his drying on the first layer, where the coffee can spend direct contact time with the sunlight. Then he moved the coffee to the second and the third layer, where it is a lot more shaded, allowing him to dry the coffee slower, breaking down mucilage and adding complex sugary sweetness to balance out that vibrancy. Now to bring out all the potential in this coffee, we roasted this to 20% of roasting development, but with a very slow first crack at 8 minutes and 53 seconds. Now, when I give you this coffee later, please assess the crema only, but do not drink them just yet.
So first complex dish is first semi-final here. It's a Mikael from Indonesia. So he started beautiful introduction. It takes like 4 minutes and 30 minutes, but it's all really precise introduction about the processing. So in the carbonic macerations is actually from first invented by the Sasasistic, the former world barista champion. So is it working? Yeah. So that carbonic maceration actually lifts up the flavor of the coffee. So he's using coffee from
this espresso is
Panama.
really good. In there you get floral aroma. They'll remind you of rose. There you go. And you get vibrancy. They'll remind you of orange. Then as it cools down, you start to get black grapes. And also you got a medium, just slightly below medium body, but with a very round texture. The finish is lingering, and you have this nice cocoa. Today we use 19.5 grams of coffee to yield out 44 grams of espresso. We also use 91.4 degrees Celsius temperature on the machine to bring out the most well-balanced cup of coffee. Now please stir 10 times to fully mix all the flavor in there, and take at least 3 big sips. The empty vessels to your right are for your dirty teaspoons, and please go ahead and enjoy.
The cup Michael using is the cup that Miki invented back in 2017 WBC. So this cup is actually helping to open up the flavor of the geisha coffee. So it's gonna, I'm pretty sure it's gonna be a really distinctive, great flavor. Look at the judge's face.